Hello, old friend. It's always a quiet joy to find you here again, ready to let the day slip away. Tonight, as you sink into your pillow, I invite you to journey with me to the Mariana Trench, Earth's deepest and most hidden frontier. This is a place where the sea presses down with unimaginable weight, yet life thrives in serene silence. So, relax your shoulders, let your breathing slow, and imagine the cool, dark waters wrapping around you like a familiar blanket. Now let us ease into our story. Over the next few minutes, I'll share with you some of the most fascinating facts about this underwater world, one gentle revelation at a time. It's perfectly fine if you drift off somewhere along the way. That's the beauty of these nights together. If these bedtime voyages bring you peace, I invite you to subscribe, and I'll be here whenever you need a quiet escape. Now, let us begin. As you sink into the quiet of your bed, picture the deepest point of the ocean, the Challenger Deep. Here, the pressure is a relentless 15,000 pounds per square inch, a feeling like an elephant balancing on your thumb. Despite this unimaginable weight, life persists in forms of delicate, transparent beauty. Tiny creatures float through the darkness, their bodies so finely tuned that they mirror the surrounding pressure. They exist in a state of peaceful suspension, drifting where no human could ever endure. This is the gentle paradox of the deep, where crushing force gives way to serene survival. The trench is so profoundly deep that if you were to submerge Mount Everest, its summit would remain more than a mile beneath the ocean's shimmering surface. This immense drop forms a silent, watery cathedral, plunging nearly 7 miles into the Earth's hidden crust. Picture the submerged landscape, a realm of eternal stillness where no storm can reach. The water here is thick with age and mystery, cradling unseen mountains and trenches. It feels like a sacred space where time itself slows to a deep, rhythmic pulse. Among the trench's most enigmatic beings are xenophyophores, giant single-celled organisms resembling frosted, delicate sponges. They rest on the seafloor, gently sifting through the constant rain of sediment from above. Each one is a silent architect, meticulously constructing its own intricate form from the gathered particles. In the soft, sporadic light of bioluminescence, they appear as ghostly, living monuments. Their presence reminds us that life can flourish in the most unexpected, gentle ways deep in the Earth's silent places. Deeper still, in the midnight zone, certain fish embrace a life of transparency. Their bodies are as clear as glass, allowing them to move like phantoms through the ink-black water. This ghostly adaptation helps them vanish against the backdrop of bioluminescence, a gallery of living light that fills the darkness. Their pale, shimmering skin catches the faintest glows, creating a dance of illumination and shadow. They are the silent spirits of the trench, embodying nature's elegant solutions to life without light. The Mariana Trench was first charted in 1875 by the HMS Challenger, using weighted ropes to measure the abyss. This pioneering voyage revealed that the ocean floor is not a flat plain, but a dynamic world of sweeping valleys and soaring ridges. It opened a window into a hidden realm, sparking endless curiosity. Imagine the crew's wonder as the rope kept sinking, deeper and deeper, into an unseen frontier. Their humble tool mapped a mystery that still beckons us to explore. Deep in the ocean's embrace, there exists a fish whose skin is as soft and clear as the finest silk, almost ethereal in the darkness. These snailfish, some of the deepest living creatures ever recorded, inhabit a world so remote that it feels like another planet. Imagine them moving through the cold currents with a slow, rhythmic grace, as if they are part of a silent ballet performed only for the abyss. Their existence is one of perpetual stillness, where every motion is deliberate and hushed, conserving energy in the endless night. The crushing pressure and near-freezing temperatures shape their delicate forms into symbols of resilience. This is a realm of calm beauty, where these snailfish remind us that even in the harshest places, life finds a way to move with elegance and peace. Imagine the seabed, a vast and lonely plain, where hydrothermal vents rise like chimneys of wonder. From these vents, warm, mineral-rich water pours forth, creating plumes that look like shimmering smoke drifting upward into the cold, dark ocean. This is not harsh smoke, but a soft, inviting haze that signals life in the depths. Around these vents, unique ecosystems bloom, with tube worms that look like delicate flowers and pale crabs that move with cautious grace. They huddle together in the quiet warmth, a community built around the Earth's subtle heartbeat. The water from these vents is rich with minerals, painting the darkness with fleeting, metallic hues that glint like underwater auroras. These oases are fragile, yet resilient, showcasing nature's ability to create warmth and community in the most unexpected places. Picture the trench, not as a harsh wound in the earth, but as a gentle crescent moon resting on the ocean floor. It stretches an immense 1,500 miles in length, with an average width of 43 miles, curving gracefully through the darkness. This vast arc traces the boundary where two tectonic plates meet, sliding softly beneath one another in a slow geological embrace. Imagine this as a giant, sleeping crescent, a scar that is not violent but serene, whispering tales of the Earth's ancient movements. The trench follows a line of subtle tension, where one plate is gently tucked under another, like a quilt being slowly folded. It is a geological masterpiece, painted in shades of deep blue and black, where time flows at a pace that defies our human perception. From the sunlit surface, a gentle rain of particles descends, known as marine snow. These tiny organic flecks, the remnants of life above, drift slowly downward like a silent, white velvet curtain. Picture this endless descent, a soft and perpetual storm of nourishment that never rushes. For the creatures of the deep, living in eternal twilight, this marine snow is a lifeline, the primary source of food. It sifts down in a delicate cascade, each particle a crumb from a world of light they will never see. This quiet, nourishing veil connects the vibrant surface to the darkest depths, sustaining a hidden ecosystem with a whisper of life. As the particles journey downward, they carry the memory of sunlight, a soft gift to the cold abyss. At the bottom of the trench, the water holds a constant, chilling temperature, hovering just above freezing. This steady, cool environment is a sanctuary of stillness, where time seems to stand still in the deep freeze. The silence here is profound, broken only by the distant, rhythmic pulse of the ocean currents moving like a slow, steady heartbeat. This sound resonates through the water, a gentle thrum that reminds us the planet is alive even in its deepest sleep. This timeless cold preserves a world untouched by the warmth of the surface, a museum of primordial calm. In this refrigerated stillness, life huddles close to the vents, finding warmth in the arms of the Earth's quiet breath. The temperature never wavers, creating a constant that is both harsh and serene, like a lullaby of the abyss. Imagine descending through the water column, where the sun's rays first dance in brilliant shafts and then slowly fade into a deep, endless blue. You are traveling toward a place so remote it feels like another planet, the Challenger Deep, the absolute lowest point of the ocean. Here, resting nearly 11,000 meters below the shimmering surface, the water pressure is over 1,000 times greater than what you feel at sea level. It is not a violent force, but a silent, heavy embrace, a gentle guardian holding the secrets of the deep in a quiet, unbreakable grip for countless millennia. In this profound darkness, where no sunlight has ever dared to travel, the void is not entirely empty. A soft, ghostly bioluminescence has blossomed through evolution, a language of light in a world of perpetual night. Some of the deep's most extraordinary residents produce their own gentle glow, their bodies flickering with a pale, ethereal fire. These living lights drift through the midnight waters like tiny floating stars, each one a solitary, peaceful universe. They guide themselves through this endless void not by sight, but by the calm, rhythmic pulsing of their own inner constellations. As you drift further across the seabed, you might encounter one of its most unusual and gentle giants, the xenophyophore. These are not complex creatures of muscle and bone, but astonishing single-celled organisms that grow surprisingly large for a world usually measured in the microscopic. They look like delicate, fragile sponges or perhaps small, intricate fans that have absorbed the quietude of their surroundings. They sit with patient stillness on the sediment, drifting quietly across the abyssal plains, filtering the slow, cold currents for the faintest whisper of sustenance. They are a testament to life's quiet ingenuity, finding a way to exist softly in the harshest of sanctuaries. The very cradle that holds these life forms is a geological masterpiece in constant, slow motion. The immense, curving canyon of the trench itself was not carved by a sudden cataclysm, but by a process of graceful, planetary rhythm called subduction. Here, one of Earth's colossal tectonic plates gently, patiently glides beneath another in a movement that is almost imperceptible. This slow, powerful dance shapes the very crust of our world over millions of years, folding the seafloor down into the mantle. This rhythmic movement creates a vast cathedral of serenity, a deep, curving canyon whose dimensions hold a quiet reverence for the deep, slow time of geology. This world of velvet darkness and absolute silence remained untouched by human senses until a moment of quiet exploration in 1960. On that day, Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh sealed themselves inside the bathyscaphe Trieste, a vessel built not for speed but for pressure, and began their long fall into the unknown. Their descent was a gentle sinking through a column of deepening indigo until they finally came to rest on the floor of the Challenger Deep itself. Their journey was not one of conquest, but a silent pilgrimage to a world where the silence is absolute. The darkness is a soft, impenetrable velvet, and the only sound is the quiet hum of your own existence in a landscape of pure, pristine mystery. At the bottom of the trench, the water remains in a constant and serene coolness. It holds steady just a few degrees above the freezing point, a gentle chill that never wavers. This steady, chilled environment creates a timeless state of preservation for everything that drifts down from the sunlit world above. It is as if the cold itself has paused time, holding each fallen object in a silent, eternal embrace. The pressure and temperature work in harmony, like nature's own quiet archivist. In this deep haven, the memories of the upper ocean are kept soft and unspoiled. There is a profound stillness here, a cool cradle where the rush of life above is utterly unknown. The snailfish, the deepest living fish ever recorded, are truly ethereal beings. Their skin is a delicate, translucent membrane that offers a glimpse into their subtle inner structures. They navigate the crushing pressures with a graceful, effortless motion, perfectly adapted to this weightless sanctuary. You might imagine them as pale, ghostly dancers in a slow underwater ballet. Each glide is a whisper of movement in the perpetual darkness. They seem to float through their world with a peace that only such absolute adaptation can bring. Their hearts beat a quiet rhythm, visible through that glassy veil. It is a life of gentle persistence in a place where few others can survive. From the sunlit waters above, a soft phenomenon called marine snow makes its endless journey. These are tiny organic particles, the remnants of life from the surface, drifting slowly downward. Day and night, this gentle white descent continues, a continuous rain of nutrients for the quiet creatures in the depths. It is a silent snowfall that never stops, bringing a soft sustenance to the abyss. Each flake is a tiny gift from a world of light and sound that these deep dwellers will never know. The seafloor catches this offering in a silent, patient accumulation. It is a delicate lifeline, a connection between two separate realities. The Mariana Trench itself is shaped like a vast, sweeping crescent moon. It stretches over 2,500 kilometers, a great curving scar on the face of the deep Pacific. These immense, sloping walls create a secluded valley of profound and ancient peace. It is one of the most untouched and tranquil places on our planet, a hidden sanctuary for the Earth's own secrets. The darkness within this lunar embrace is soft and complete, a velvet nothingness that has never felt the sun. Wandering through this quiet topography would feel like tracing the edges of a dream. Its scale is beyond human comprehension, a quiet giant slumbering beneath the waves. The seabed of this hidden world is covered in a thick, soft layer of fine ooze. This powdery blanket is born from eons of decomposed minerals and the ancient, microscopic shells of bygone creatures. It forms a silken, yielding floor that cushions the descent of everything that eventually finds its way to the deep. Here, all things rest in a permanent, quiet slumber, held in a bed softer than the finest talc. Imagine the touch of this primordial dust, a texture of absolute stillness under an infinite weight. It is the final resting place, a silent testament to the passage of deep time. Each grain tells a story of a world long past, but the narrative is one of complete calm. Still with me in this deep place, that is perfectly all right. The quiet here is meant to be shared at your own pace. If your mind is drifting, let it carry you softly like the marine snow we spoke of.
If this soothes you, a light gently guides other night owls here.
Deep beneath the endless blue, in the quiet heart of the ocean, lies a place called the Challenger Deep. The water here reaches a depth of nearly 10,935 meters. Imagine, if you would, gently lowering the mighty Mount Everest into this silent abyss. The mountain's highest peak would vanish into the darkness, still floating more than 2 kilometers beneath the shimmering surface. It is a depth so profound that the light of the sun has never touched it. Down here, there is only a soft, eternal night, thick with the weight of water. And yet, even in this immense silence, life finds a way to rest. The sheer scale of this hidden world invites the mind to drift, to feel how small we are in the gentle arms of the deep. Speaking of the deep, the pressure at the bottom of the trench is an immense 1,000 times higher than the air we breathe at the surface. It is a weight you cannot imagine, yet it does not crush with violence. Instead, there is a peaceful, heavy stillness, like a blanket that surrounds everything. The creatures here have learned to live in harmony with this gentle force. They evolved soft, gelatinous bodies that yield to the water, allowing them to float effortlessly through the darkness. Their forms are like living whispers, perfectly at home in the quiet embrace of the abyss. This softness is their strength, a perfect surrender to the deep. And in that surrender, there is a profound peace. Among these peaceful inhabitants are the xenophyophores, some of the most curious residents here. They are giant, single-celled organisms, delicate and fragile. Each one is a tiny universe, a single cell that can grow as large as a tennis ball. They look like soft sponges resting on the ocean floor, their delicate structures fanning out like branches underwater to capture tiny particles. Slowly, they drift across the dark sediment, filtering nutrients from the silent current. These simple beings embody a quiet elegance, performing their gentle work without hurry or sound. Their existence is a soft song, a reminder of the patience embedded in the abyss. They move so slowly that a single breath might carry them across a grain of sand. In their stillness, they reflect the deep's own quiet rhythm. Long before we could descend ourselves, the Mariana Trench was first charted in 1875 by the HMS Challenger. This was a vessel dedicated to the quiet study of the deep, sailing slowly across unknown waters. The crew worked patiently, lowering weighted lines into the darkness, not knowing what they might find. Their historic voyage laid the foundation for our understanding of the abyss, revealing a world of hidden wonder far beneath the waves. They showed us that there are secrets below the sea, waiting in the silence for those who take the time to listen. The sound of the ship's creak and the gentle splash of the lead line were like a meditation on the unknown. In that slow exploration, they touched the edge of the deepest place on Earth. This quiet connection, born of curiosity and reverence, still echoes today. Then, in 1960, the bathyscaphe Trieste made the first peaceful descent to the very bottom of the Challenger Deep. Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh drifted slowly through the darkness, their small sphere a bubble of warmth in the cold abyss. For hours they sank, surrounded by nothing but the gentle hum of their instruments and the weight of the water. Finally, they reached the soft, untouched floor, a landscape no human eye had ever seen. There, in that serene moment, they became the first humans to witness the deepest point on Earth, a place of perfect stillness. Their journey was a quiet pilgrimage, a testament to our gentle longing to understand the silence below. They did not disturb the deep, they simply bore witness to its ancient calm. And then they ascended, leaving the trench to its eternal sleep. Far beneath the rolling waves, in the deep embrace of the ocean, a slow and steady dance takes place. The Earth's great crustal plates shift, and one slides gently beneath another, a process called subduction. This slow, rhythmic movement of the Earth's crust creates a crescent-shaped valley that stretches for about 2,550 kilometers. It is a quiet sculpting, a patient unfolding of geological time that shapes the deep ocean floor. The trench forms not in a sudden cataclysm, but in the gentle, ongoing breath of the planet, a whisper of movement that echoes through the ages. It is a place where the Earth's deep memory is etched into the seafloor, silent and profound. In this realm of perpetual night, where sunlight never reaches, darkness is absolute. And yet some creatures carry their own light, a phenomenon called bioluminescence. They use this to create a soft, glowing radiance from their bodies, shimmering pulses of blue and green that drift through the velvet blackness. These lights float like scattered jewels, quiet beacons in the midnight zone. They flash and fade in a silent symphony, signals of life in the profound stillness. It is a language of illumination, spoken by beings who have never seen the sun, making the deep ocean a sky without stars, except for those they make themselves. The water near the bottom holds a constant chill, always between 1 and 4 degrees Celsius. This perpetual coolness creates a steady, unchanging environment that feels almost timeless. It is a world where warmth is a distant memory, and the cold seeps into every crevice with a gentle persistence. Here, time itself seems to slow down, as if the deep is in a state of deep hibernation. The water moves sluggishly, conserving the ancient chill of the ocean's depths, preserving the trench in a crystal stillness that has endured for ages. In this frozen constancy, life adapts to a rhythm that spans eons rather than moments, a sanctuary of steadiness. Consider the snailfish, the deepest living fish ever recorded, a creature of ghostly beauty. Its appearance is translucent, almost otherworldly in the heavy, silent waters. Its skin is so delicate and clear that you might peer through it as if looking at a thin sheet of morning frost. They float like wisps of cloud through the crushing darkness, moving with an effortless grace that defies the immense pressure. There is a fragility to them that seems out of place in this harsh realm, yet they thrive. They are fleeting dreams in the abyss, barely substantial yet full of life, drifting like quiet spirits in the eternal night. Down on the seabed, a thick, soft layer covers the floor, a blanket of ooze made of decomposed organic matter. This sediment comes from the sunlit world above, the remnants of life that have rained down over eons. It settles slowly, a powdery, silken deposit that drifts down over millions of years, creating a plush velvet carpet on the deep ocean floor. Each particle is a memory of a creature that once lived and died in the light, now resting here in the quiet depths. This cushion of ancient remains forms a gentle embrace, the final resting place for the rains of life, a soft and silent accumulation of time's passage. Now we descend, past the known and the mapped, into the deepest sanctuary of the trench. Here, in a place called the Challenger Deep, the seafloor falls away to a floating distance of nearly 10,935 meters below the sun. At this quiet depth, the water does not just surround you, it holds you with a heavy, steady weight. Imagine an elephant balancing perfectly on the flat of your thumb, a constant and ancient pressure that has rested there for millions of years. Sharing this silent world are some of its most mysterious residents, the xenophyophores. They drift like forgotten dreams, giant single-celled organisms that look like soft, delicate sponges resting in the sediment. They live a life of pure peace, gently filtering tiny minerals from the water in the cool, absolute darkness. It is a quiet wonder that a single cell, the smallest unit of life we know, can grow so surprisingly large and complete in this otherworldly place. This immense pressure at the bottom shapes the very biology of its creatures. Look at the translucent snailfish, a gentle being whose body seems to be made of a pale, watery light. The weight here is so immense it would fold the delicate machinery of a normal cell, but these beings have not resisted the deep. They have evolved specialized proteins over countless ages that cradle their cellular structures, holding them steady so they can flutter softly through the crushing, silent water without ever being broken. We have drifted into the Hadal Zone, a region named for Hades, the unseen realm whispered of in Greek myths. This world begins at 6,000 meters, a threshold where the last faint memory of sunlight fades completely. Above you there is no blue, no fading twilight. It fades into a velvety, eternal midnight, a darkness so complete it feels soft against your senses, a place where the very concept of day has been peacefully forgotten. through this midnight a quiet sustenance falls. It is called marine snow, a gentle drift of organic debris that flutters down from the bright, forgotten surface world. It falls slowly, like a quiet blanket of white flakes in a motionless sky, taking days or weeks to reach the seafloor. This soft, never-ending descent is the primary source of nourishment, a gift from the light that feeds the peaceful, hidden communities living in the quiet heart of the abyss. In the deep, silent waters, where light fades to a soft whisper, tiny creatures called amphipods drift gently past. They are like small, transparent jewels, their delicate bodies catching the faintest glimmers from above. These quiet custodians move slowly across the ocean floor, gathering the soft rain of particles that fall from the surface. With patient grace, they consume this fallen matter, one tiny piece at a time. It is a gentle, endless ritual, tidying the abyss in a slow, soothing dance. Their shimmering forms remind us that even in the deepest darkness, there is a quiet elegance to life's simple tasks. In the stillness, they continue their work, unseen and unheard, a gentle pulse of life in the cold depths. Long ago, in the year 1875, a sailing ship named HMS Challenger drifted across the vast open waters of the Pacific Ocean. Her mission was to map the unknown, to chart places never before seen by human eyes. Through patient observation, her crew lowered weighted lines into the dark sea, and what they found stirred a quiet wonder. The measurements revealed a hidden canyon, a deep scar in the earth far below the surface. This profound depth, so silent and remote, sparked a gentle curiosity that would drift through the minds of scientists for 100 years. It was as if the ocean whispered a secret, and the world listened in awe. That hidden canyon, now known as the Trench, remains a place of quiet mystery, a testament to the slow, patient work of discovery. Deep down, where the water is cold and still, there are places where the earth breathes out warmth. These hydrothermal vents release gentle plumes of mineral-rich fluid that shimmer like ghostly curtains in the darkness. Around these vents, tiny warm oases form on the ocean floor, glowing with a soft, otherworldly light. Here, life does not depend on the sun but on chemical energy, a slow, steady source of nourishment. Creatures gather in quiet clusters, moving with a lazy grace, sustained by this hidden heat. It is a gentle cycle, a whisper of life in the cold abyss, where warmth is a precious, delicate gift. In these oases, time seems to slow down, and every movement is a quiet prayer to the deep. Beneath the waves, the earth moves in a slow, rhythmic dance that we can barely imagine. It is called subduction, a process where one massive tectonic plate glides gently beneath another. This movement is so slow, it happens at a pace like the growth of your fingernail, barely a whisper of change each year. Over millions of years, this patient motion shapes the deep valleys and towering ridges of the ocean floor. The trench itself is a testament to this endless quiet dance, a scar in the earth carved by time and pressure. It is a reminder that even the most profound forces work in silence, moving with a grace that is almost invisible. In this way, the earth reshapes itself, slowly and softly, like a breath held for eternity. At the very bottom of the trench, the water holds a constant, cool embrace. The temperature hovers just a few degrees above freezing, a steady, gentle cold that never wavers. This timeless stillness wraps around everything, creating an environment where change comes so slowly, it barely exists. The currents move with a soft, lingering flow, like a mother's hand smoothing a blanket. In this unchanging world, life drifts in a slow-motion dream, suspended in the peaceful dark. It is a place where the water itself seems to hold its breath, cradling the deep in a silent, eternal lullaby. In this place, the cold is not harsh but soothing, a gentle blanket that preserves the quiet forever. Far below the surface, in a place where light cannot reach, there is a quiet kingdom called the Challenger Deep. Imagine descending through layers of blue until all color fades to black, and you arrive at this final frontier, where the sea floor stretches like a vast, untouched plain. It rests nearly 7 miles down, at a peaceful depth of around 10,935 meters. Here, the water is perfectly still, holding a silence so complete it feels like a gentle embrace. The pressure is immense, more than 1,000 times what we feel at the surface, yet in the deep, it seems to cradle the world in a steady, comforting weight. Time moves differently in this hidden sanctuary, where the ocean sleeps in eternal calm. In the soft darkness of the trench, tiny wonders called xenophyophores make their home. They are single cells, yet they can grow as large as 10 centimeters, a quiet miracle of the deep sea. Looking like delicate sponges, they sift the fine sediment that drifts down from above, filtering the water in a slow, patient dance. Their lives unfold in a rhythm so unhurried, it feels like a gentle breath in the stillness. Each one is a tiny universe, a silent testament to the beauty of simplicity in the abyss. They remind us that life does not need complexity to thrive, only patience and the gentle pulse of the ocean.
Long ago, in the year 1875, a ship named HMS Challenger sailed across the vast Pacific Ocean. Its crew carried a simple dream: to map the uncharted depths of the sea. With a weighted line, they first sounded the trench, discovering a hidden world far below. That moment sparked a quiet curiosity, a timeless wonder about the mysteries resting beneath the waves. The Challenger's story is like a lullaby from the past, a gentle reminder that our world holds endless secrets, patiently waiting to be found in the deep blue silence. It is a quiet echo from a time of discovery.
In the utter darkness of the Hadal Zone, tiny amphipods drift like living glass. Their bodies are translucent, so delicate it seems the water flows right through them. They are shrimp-like, but softer, gliding on the cool, heavy currents without haste. Here, there is no sunlight, only the steady rhythm of the deep. These gentle travelers have evolved to embrace the darkness, finding peace in a world where time stands still, floating through a silent, eternal night. Each movement is a soft whisper in the water, a gentle dance that has lasted for millennia. They are the quiet souls of the abyss, content in their slow, graceful journey. Their translucent forms catch the faintest glow, like starlight beneath the sea. In the deepest layers of the ocean, a pale, ghostly figure glides through the dim waters. It is the snailfish, one of the most profound residents of the abyss. Its body is soft and flexible, almost like a whisper made flesh, allowing it to float effortlessly under the immense pressure. There is no struggle in its movement, only a serene acceptance of the deep. This quiet fish moves through the darkness like a gentle dream, a soft presence in a world where light has never touched. It is a creature of pure tranquility, embodying the calm of the ocean's heart. Watching it, you feel a sense of peace, as if all the worries of the surface dissolve into the deep blue. Deep within the Mariana Trench, where sunlight never reaches, there is a quiet magic. The giant bacteria of the deep sea drift through this eternal midnight, carrying their own soft light. They produce a slow, steady chemical glow, a phenomenon called bioluminescence, which illuminates their path with a tender grace. This light is not harsh but a gentle flicker, like tiny stars awakening one by one in the dark. Colors pulse softly, blues and greens that melt into the black water, creating a dreamlike atmosphere. The entire void becomes a serene canvas, where every shimmer whispers of life in the stillness. Imagine these bacteria as tiny lanterns, their glow a slow dance in the water, each pulse a heartbeat in the deep. This light creates a dreamscape, where the boundaries between sleep and wakefulness blur, and the ocean feels like a vast, gentle dream. This bioluminescence is not just navigation but a silent language, a soft song that echoes through the abyss, guiding life in the dark. This same trench, the cradle of such wonders, is shaped like a crescent moon, a delicate curve carved into the ocean floor. It stretches peacefully for about 2,500 kilometers, a long, quiet embrace across the deep. This form was sculpted by the slow drift of tectonic plates, where one plate gently slips beneath another in a process called subduction. Over millions of years, this soft descent has created a deep, timeless basin, like a memory of the Earth's ancient dance. The movement is so unhurried that it feels like a breath held for eternity, shaping the trench with infinite patience. Imagine the moon itself, its gentle curve reflected in the seafloor, a shape that has endured for eons. This crescent is not sharp, but a soft, welcoming arc, cradling the mysteries of the deep. The process of subduction is a slow, almost meditative act where the Earth's plates drift like clouds in the sky, shaping the trench with a tender, relentless grace. In its deepest reaches, the water holds a constant, refreshing chill, hovering just above the freezing point. This steady coolness is like a gentle sigh from the earth, a timeless breath that never changes. It creates a stable, dreamy environment where life moves at a patient rhythm. Creatures here do not rush, they drift in a state of serene continuity, their heartbeats drawn out like a slow lullaby. The chill is not harsh but a soothing presence, a reminder of the trench's enduring peace, where time itself seems to slow down. Think of this chill as a quiet embrace, a constant that wraps the abyss in comfort. Every creature in this deep moves with a gentle deliberation, as if each moment is a precious pearl strung on an endless thread. This temperature has been the same for millennia, a steady companion in the dark, fostering a world where speed is meaningless and only stillness holds meaning. From the sunlit surface far above, a quiet phenomenon occurs, a gentle descent of tiny particles called marine snow. These flakes of organic matter drift slowly downward, like a soft, underwater snowfall through the dark. They travel for hours, even days, a nourishing stream that connects the bright world to the abyss. As they settle, they form a delicate blanket on the seafloor, feeding the creatures that wait in the shadows. This slow, steady drift is a lifeline, a quiet reminder that even in the deepest dark, there is provision, a tender sustenance from above. Picture each flake as a tiny messenger from the sun, carrying a memory of light to the depths. This marine snow descends with a gentle insistence, never rushing, always arriving precisely when needed. It is a cycle of giving that has no end, a soft, endless rain of life that nourishes the hidden world. And in this place, the silence is profound, a deep, warm hush that envelops all. It is as if the ocean is holding its breath, offering a peace beyond anything known on land. The only interruption is the low, rhythmic hum of the Earth's movements, a gentle vibration that feels like a heartbeat. This sound is not a disturbance, but a soothing lullaby, a reminder of the planet's ancient life. In this absolute stillness, the world above fades away into a dark, peaceful embrace, where silence is not empty but full of serene power. Listen closely, and you might hear the earth breathing, a deep, resonant hum that cradles the silence. This quiet is so complete that it feels like a warm blanket, tucking everything into a state of peaceful rest. Here, the noise of the world is a distant memory, and only the gentle pulse of the planet remains, a soft heartbeat in the dark. Still here? That's lovely. You don't need to hold on to any of this, just let the words wash over you, like gentle currents in the deep. Deep in the heart of the ocean lies a place called the Challenger Deep, a quiet trench where the weight of water settles like a gentle, endless blanket. At this resting place, the pressure rises to more than 15,000 pounds, pressing upon every single square inch. It is a soft, heavy embrace, not violent but constant and still, shaping life in ways we are only beginning to understand. The creatures here do not fight the weight, they simply drift, their bodies formed by this timeless, velvet compression. In this dark and silent kingdom, tiny beings called amphipods float through the water like drifting thoughts. Their bodies are almost invisible, pale and translucent, as fragile as glass. These ghostly crustaceans have learned to live in the crushing cold, moving without hurry, sustained by a delicate rain of organic snow. This snow falls slowly from the bright world above, flakes of life sinking through miles of darkness, settling like a quiet memory. The amphipods glide through it all, patient wanderers in the deep, eternal night. The trench itself was born from a slow and peaceful dance of the earth. Deep beneath the seabed, one great tectonic plate slides softly beneath another, a movement so gradual it feels like breathing. This process, called subduction, has carved a crescent-shaped valley that reaches almost 11,000 meters down, a quiet scar in the planet's skin. It is a place where the Earth folds inward, cradling the ocean in its ancient, rhythmic embrace. There is no hurry in this creation, only a gentle, perpetual motion that continues to this very moment. Resting on the soft, silken mud of the trench floor, you might find strange forms called xenophyophores. These are among the largest single cells on Earth, yet they look like delicate clouds or spongy, drifting dreams. They sit with timeless patience, absorbing minerals from the water around them, asking for nothing. Their existence is a whisper of life, simple and profound, a reminder that even a single cell can hold a universe of stillness. They have no rush, no urgency, just the slow, steady act of being. In the deepest layers of water, where sunlight never reaches, a different kind of light begins to glow. Here, in the midnight zone, fish carry their own soft lanterns, bioluminescent sparks that pulse with a gentle shimmer. These tiny lights are not harsh, but like stars that have fallen into the sea, twinkling in the ink-black water. Through this living constellation, the fish speak to one another, finding their way through the darkness without sound. They create a quiet, drifting map of light, a celestial dance in the silent, hidden world beneath the waves. Down in the profound depths of the Mariana Trench, the water temperature remains a constant, chilled embrace. It hovers just above the freezing point, a steady coolness that never wavers. This quiet cold preserves the ancient stillness of the deep, a silence that has rested there for eons. Far from the warmth of the dancing sun, the icy calm wraps around you like a soft blanket, inviting you to let go of all your thoughts. Here, time itself seems to slow, cradling you in a gentle, unending peace. The Hadal Zone is named after Hades, the god of the underworld, reflecting a profound sense of isolation and mystery. It describes the deepest regions of the ocean, where the world feels wide, open, and profoundly quiet. This is a realm of soft shadows and slow drifting currents, where every sound is swallowed into the immense stillness. As you float here, you might sense a deep connection to something ancient and unknowable, a peaceful solitude that wraps around your soul like a gentle embrace. It is a sacred, hidden space where time seems to stand still. Snailfish, the deepest known fish species, possess a soft, gelatinous body that allows them to float effortlessly under immense pressure. Their pale, shimmering skin blends into the dim light of the abyss, making them almost invisible as they drift peacefully through the depths. These gentle creatures move with a slow, graceful glide, as if they are part of the water itself. They seem like soft whispers in the darkness, reminding you that life can thrive in the most unexpected places. Their presence adds a touch of quiet wonder to this dreamlike world. The descent to the bottom takes several hours, a slow and steady journey through the water column. As you sink deeper, the blue of the surface gently fades into a deep, velvety indigo, a color so rich it feels like a blanket wrapping around you. The sounds of the upper ocean gradually vanish, the whispers of waves and life giving way to a humming, meditative silence. This quiet is thick and soothing, like the sound of your own breath in a sleeping world. You drift downward, cradled by the darkness, letting go of all thoughts and memories, simply being in this moment. The seabed of the trench is covered in a thick, soft layer of ooze, made from the tiny remains of ancient plankton. This powdery, white sediment creates a smooth and cushioning landscape that has rested undisturbed for millions of years. It feels like a soft, silent carpet, welcoming you to lay down your worries and rest. The ooze is a tapestry of time, holding the memories of countless lives that once floated in the sunlit waters above. Floating over this ancient bed, you might feel a deep sense of peace, knowing this place has been a sanctuary of stillness since the dawn of the ocean. Far beneath the surface, far beyond where sunlight dares to travel, lies a place called the Challenger Deep. It is the deepest known point on our planet, descending nearly 10,935 meters into a quiet dark that feels endless. At this depth, the water pressure becomes a staggering 1,000 times greater than at the sea level you and I know. It is not a crushing force, but a heavy and silent embrace, a weight that holds everything still. Think of it as a gentle, ancient hug from the ocean itself, wrapping the seafloor in a protective blanket of stillness.
In these deepest reaches, scientists have discovered something truly extraordinary. They found xenophyophores, giant single-celled organisms that drift like delicate sponges across the soft sediment. Each one is a fragile, peaceful architect of the seafloor, a living sculpture built to filter nutrients from the slow-moving currents. They exist without rush, without sound, simply being. Their presence reminds us that life can take the most unexpected forms, thriving in a slow-motion ballet that has unfolded for millennia.
The trench that cradles this deep point is a crescent-shaped sanctuary carved into the earth. It stretches about 2,550 kilometers in length, yet it is only 69 kilometers wide, a vast underwater valley of slumbering shadows. This graceful scar was formed by the slow, patient sliding of the Pacific Plate beneath the smaller Mariana Plate. Over millions of years, with a movement as gentle as a deep breath, the ocean floor folded and created this hidden haven. It is a monument to time, shaped not by sudden violence but by a dance of stone and pressure too slow to ever perceive. Back in 1960, a brave little vessel named the Bathyscaphe Trieste made a historic descent into this velvet darkness. Carrying two explorers, Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh, it sank through the silent water until it finally touched the untouchable. Their journey was a quiet pilgrimage into the unknown, a soft knock on the door of an unseen world. What they discovered was a profound truth, that even in the most remote corners of our planet, life finds a way to exist in quiet harmony. There, in a realm of absolute stillness, a small fish swam past their window, a gentle ambassador from the abyss. Perhaps the most ethereal inhabitant of this realm is the Mariana snailfish. It lives deeper than any other fish on Earth, drifting through freezing waters with a translucent, ghostly appearance. Its body has evolved a soft, flexible structure, not to fight the immense weight of the ocean above, but to accept it as a gentle partner. The snailfish belongs to the pressure, moving without resistance, a pale whisper of life gliding through the eternal night. It is a reminder that some of the softest things can endure what seems impossible, simply by letting go. Down in the deepest parts of the ocean, sunlight never reaches. It is an eternal, peaceful midnight, a calm, unbroken darkness that feels timeless and serene. The inhabitants of this realm rely on bioluminescence, generating soft, glowing lights that pulse and flicker. These luminous specks resemble distant stars scattered across a cosmic ocean, each one a tiny beacon in the endless blue. They drift and shimmer, creating a dreamlike tapestry of light that never ceases to soothe the soul. This silent illumination is a reminder that even in the darkest places, there is a gentle, persistent beauty. From the surface far above, a delicate shower of marine snow descends. It is a slow, graceful fall of organic particles and minerals. This shimmering drift provides a quiet, steady source of nourishment for the creatures of the abyss. Like a soft underwater snowfall, it carries sustenance through the still waters. Each flake is a tiny gift, drifting endlessly downward to sustain life in this hidden world. The journey is long and patient, taking months to reach the trench floor. In this gentle descent, there is no rush, only a quiet consistency that feeds the silent ecosystem. Creatures wait, suspended in the darkness, for this celestial-like offering that connects the sunlit surface to the eternal night below. It is a reminder that even in isolation, there is a flow of life, a constant humble cycle that keeps the deep alive. The water temperature at the bottom of the trench remains a constant chilly range. It hovers between 1 and 4 degrees Celsius, a steady coolness that preserves the environment in a state of timeless drifting. This cold is not harsh but gentle, like a quiet embrace that slows everything down. In this perpetual chill, the world moves in slow motion, each moment stretched into eternity. The stillness feels infinite, as if time itself has paused to rest in the deep. This steady temperature creates a sanctuary of stability where change is rare and silence reigns. The cold water holds the memories of ancient oceans, cradling them in a frozen reverie. Creatures here are adapted to this slow rhythm, their lives unfolding in a serene, unhurried dance. Along the trench floor, hydrothermal vents release warm mineral-rich fluids. These fluids rise and shimmer against the dark water, creating a soft, ethereal glow. The vents form small, cozy oases where specialized bacteria thrive. These tiny organisms are the foundation of a unique and silent ecosystem. In the cold darkness, these warm springs are like hidden hearths, offering a quiet comfort to the life that gathers around them. The heat from the Earth's interior escapes here, weaving a story of warmth in the abyss. This silent community relies on the vents for energy, a cycle of life that glows in the profound night. It is a gentle reminder that even in the most remote places, life finds a way to bloom in soft, secret gatherings. Deep within the Earth, a geological process called subduction is at work. It slowly recycles the ocean's crust, pulling the old seafloor into the warm mantle. This rhythmic cycle is like the planet's slow, steady breath. It ensures that the ocean remains a living, breathing part of Earth's ancient history. The seafloor is not lost but transformed, returning to the depths from which it once came in an endless, graceful loop. This planetary dance is invisible yet profound, a deep time rhythm that echoes through millennia. As the crust descends, it carries with it the stories of the deep, merging them into the warm heart of the world. This process keeps the ocean alive, a constant renewal that whispers of eternity in the silent depths. Down in the Challenger Deep, the water pressure is a staggering, silent force. 8 tons press down on every single inch. It is not a sharp blow, but a deep, still embrace from the dark water. Imagine this soft, immense weight holding you, wrapping around you like a liquid shroud. Yet tiny amphipods glide through this heavy blackness with ease. They drift like warm whispers in the vast quiet. Their delicate bodies are perfectly attuned to this crushing pressure. This silent embrace defines the very biology of the deepest place on Earth. It is a world where life moves slowly under the weight of the sea, a gentle, persistent pulse in the darkness. The abyss is a quiet kingdom, ruled by pressure, where every creature is a soft miracle. In the trench, the ethereal snailfish dwells. It is a creature of ghostly light, translucent and drifting. It moves like a soft ribbon through the midnight water, weightless in the dark. These peaceful beings have evolved a beautiful secret. Specialized proteins hold their bodies in a state of fluid grace. Even under the crushing weight of the abyss, they remain flexible and fluid. They glide with a gentle ease, adapting to the pressure so perfectly. It is a quiet miracle of the deep, a whisper of life in the still, vast blackness. Feel the silence where they swim, a world without sound, only the soft pulse of their existence. In this world, the snailfish is a drifting light, a soft spirit in the endless night. In the deepest trench, xenophyophores live. They are giant single cells, soft and fragile as fresh snow. Their bodies form delicate, spongy masses in the still darkness. These quiet architects work slowly, with patience. They filter scarce nutrients from the water, drawing life from the slow-moving currents. It is a gentle, rhythmic process in the hadal zone. They build the deep sea floor, one particle at a time, a soft, enduring presence in the vast, pressing quiet. Feel their slow creation, a deep, silent breath shaping the abyss. They are the quiet guardians of the sea floor, filtering time itself. They are the quiet breath of the deep, shaping the seabed with a touch as light as darkness itself. Down in the deepest reaches, the water temperature is a steady chill. It hovers just above freezing, always between 1 and 4 degrees Celsius. This constant, cool embrace wraps around you like a soft blanket. It creates a timeless feeling, still and unchanging. The pace of life slows to a gentle crawl here. Creatures move with a deliberate, soft rhythm. It is a frozen world in liquid form, where the deep cold carries the weight of eons, preserving a peaceful, tranquil hush. Feel the stillness seep into your bones, a slow, deep breathing of the ocean's heart. The cold is a gentle mother, cradling life in a frozen, flowing womb. The Mariana Trench is shaped like a graceful crescent moon. It stretches over 2,500 kilometers across the dark seafloor. This elegant curve was formed by a slow, rhythmic dance between plates. The Pacific Plate slides deep beneath the smaller Mariana Plate. It is a silent, steady movement, a process called subduction. Over eons, this deep geological breath carved the trench, creating a vast, curving scar in the Earth's crust. A still, whispering reminder of the planet's ancient, patient heart. Feel the deep time here, where the Earth's crust moves like a slow sigh in the dark. It is a place where the planet's deepest secrets are whispered in the slow shift of stone. Now, let the last of your thoughts drift away, like a bubble rising to the surface of a still pond. Sink deeper with me into the quiet of the deep sea. Feel the warmth of the water around you, soft and enclosing. We are descending into the heart of the ocean, where silence becomes a touch and darkness a comfort. Let the following whispers guide you into a deeper sleep. Let your mind sink into the deep, where a soft white curtain of tiny organic particles drifts downward from the sunlit surface. It falls like a silent snow, a gentle rain of nutrients that feeds the mysterious life below. Feel the stillness of this endless descent, the particles settling like a whisper on the dark seafloor. This is the primary sustenance for the hidden creatures, a quiet gift from the world above. It is a soft, constant nourishment in the vast darkness. It is the first gift of the deep, a quiet reminder of life above. Imagine the trench so deep, so profoundly deep, that if Mount Everest were lowered inside, its highest peak would still drift more than 2 kilometers beneath the shimmering sea. You would float above it, in this vast inverted mountain range of pure silence and shadow. The darkness here is absolute, pressing softly against you like a warm, invisible blanket. It is a place where the weight of the water becomes a gentle embrace, a kingdom where time slows to a quiet crawl, a realm where pressure becomes a soft, enclosing peace. Deep on the ocean floor, hydrothermal vents dot the darkness, releasing warm plumes of mineral-rich water. This liquid shimmers like soft gold against the blackness, a silent, glowing heartbeat. These vents are warm sanctuaries, nurturing colonies of specialized bacteria and shimmering shrimp. Watch them in their quiet, chemical dance, a ballet of survival in the deep. It is a delicate balance, a warm whisper of life in the cold, pressing dark. Feel the warmth spread through the water, a gentle caress in the eternal night. This hidden warmth is a gentle lullaby in the cold expanse. The seafloor here is covered in a fine, silken ooze, a soft blanket made from decomposed matter and microscopic shells. It has settled over the rocks for eons, forming a powdery layer of ancient sediment. Picture it, soft and still, like cool silk under your fingertips. This quiet dust holds the memory of the deep, a peaceful record of time. It is a gentle, endless bed for the ocean's sleep. You can almost feel its softness wrapping around you, pulling you deeper into the calm. A soft history of the ocean, written in particles of silence. The silence of the Mariana Trench is nearly absolute, a deep stillness that engulfs everything. It is broken only by the low, rhythmic hum of the ocean's deep currents, a soft, steady heartbeat in the dark. This is a sanctuary of stillness, where all the noise of the world above fades into a distant fading memory. Here you can feel the weight of sleep, so warm and inviting. It is a place where the soul can finally rest, deep in the quiet. It is the final lull, the deepest breath before sleep takes you. As we float here in the soft dark of the trench, let the stillness wash over you. The deep has shared its secrets, but now it is time to rest. Carry the warmth of the vents, the silence of the abyss into your dreams. Sleep now, deep and still, like the ancient sediment on the ocean floor. Good night, and let the quiet of the deep hold you through the night. Deep within the Challenger Deep, the water presses down with a weight you can almost feel on your skin, even from here. 15,750 pounds on every square inch. It is like an elephant standing on one thumb, a dense, silent, crushing force. Yet, in this immense pressure, tiny snailfish drift. Their bodies are translucent, barely there, like fragile whispers of glass. They have let the weight become a part of them. They move without hurry, soft as a thought, perfectly cradled in the heavy embrace of the deep. It is a stillness that has endured for eons, a gentle surrender to the vast, dark water. The trench is carved by the slowest dance on Earth. The massive Pacific Plate, a slab of the planet's skin, glides gently beneath the smaller Mariana Plate. This is subduction, a yielding that has lasted millions of years. The edge curls downward, forming a crescent valley deeper than any mountain is tall. Almost 11,000 meters down, a quiet sanctuary is scooped from the crust. It is a place of profound stillness, shaped by forces too slow for any eye to see. The earth sighs, and a little more of the plate slips under, deepening the trench by a whisper. This is how the deep gets deeper, in the quietest of ways. In the midnight zone, where sunlight is a forgotten memory, creatures make their own light. It is called bioluminescence, a soft, living glow. Blue and green pulses drift like stars that have fallen into the sea. They wink and pulse in the velvet blackness, tiny signals sent by curious beings. A fish flashes a gentle rhythm. A jellyfish trails a string of light. These glimmers are a language, a quiet conversation in the silent void. They guide, they warn, they lure, all in the tenderest of ways. Like floating dreams of light, they drift past each other, and the darkness is no longer empty. It is filled with soft, glowing breath. Among the most unusual residents of this deep are the xenophyophores. They are single cells, but they can grow as large as 10 centimeters, as big as your hand. They look like delicate, fluffy sponges resting on the sediment. Their bodies are fragile, a pale lace of protoplasm. They sit and they wait, and they filter. Tiny organic particles drift down like snow, and the xenophyophore catches them, a quiet breath of life in the abyss. There is something ancient about them, something that has never needed to be more than one cell. In the cold stillness they endure, soft and patient, as the currents drift by. The water near the bottom is cold, just above freezing, 1 degree Celsius, maybe 4. This chilled stillness wraps around everything like a blanket of ice. Movements are slow, suspended in the dense cold. A fish may take hours to cross a meter. Time itself feels heavy here, each second stretching into a lingering dream. The cold seeps into the bones of the earth, a quiet, numbing peace. In this timeless environment, silt settles like memories, and the passage of hours is a soft, blurry thing. It is a place where dreams sink and rest, undisturbed, in the deep, dark freeze. Drift now deeper into this quiet world. Let the pressure become a lullaby, the cold a soft embrace. The deep holds its secrets, and the darkness is warm. Sleep, and let these gentle facts carry you like a current into rest. Breathe in the image of soft, warm chimneys rising from the dark floor, their plumes a slow exhale of mineral-rich fluid. These gentle vents cradle chemical gardens where pale bacteria weave mats of life in the deep. It is a cozy, sunless oasis, a flicker of warmth in the vast, silent sea. The water shimmers faintly with heat, muffling the abyss into a lullaby of stillness. No light reaches here, yet this quiet bloom sustains a world of its own. Feel the deep hush around these hidden springs, a warmth that cradles an ancient, dreaming peace. Let the soft, warm chimneys soothe you into slumber. Imagine the slow, drifting descent into the trench, a journey that stretches for hours. The light fades from a bright turquoise to a deep indigo, then thickens into a velvety ink. The submersible hangs in the water like a lull in time, its engines a soft thrum in the silence. No sunlight whispers here, only the deep, steady hum of the sea. The world above melts away, becoming a distant, dreamlike memory. All that remains is the weightless glide into the deep, where darkness wraps around like a warm, enfolding blanket. Let the quiet sink into your bones, a peaceful surrender to the arms of the abyss. The seafloor here is blanketed in a thick, soft ooze, pale as bone and fine as silk. It is made of countless microscopic shells and gentle decay, a sediment that cushions all sound. A vessel landing on this muck would feel no impact, only a profound hush descending. This silken layer absorbs the very idea of noise, holding the trench in perfect stillness. Every particle whispers of life that once drifted above, now nested in the deep quiet, a bed of ancient rest where time itself seems to settle and sleep. Feel the softness yield beneath you, cradling the weight of the world above. This trench is a silent stitch in a vast geological ribbon, the Mariana Arc. It weaves a quiet path of underwater mountains and hidden peaks across the western Pacific. Imagine a chain of floating valleys and dark summits, a landscape sleeping beneath miles of water. This immense chain holds the abyss in its gentle curve, a seam of the earth too deep for sound. It stretches like a whispered thought through the ocean, connecting volcanic islands in a long, slow breath of stone and stillness, a sleeping dragon of rock and water, cradling the deep in an endless, dreaming hush. Even here, in the most peaceful depths, tiny fragments of the surface world drift down. Microscopic plastic and organic debris settle softly onto the ooze, a quiet reminder of the interconnectedness of our world. The bright, breezy shores and the sunless deep are tied together by this invisible thread. It is a gentle whisper from above, linking two realms in an eternal, silent embrace. A single vast breath holds everything, cradling both the shimmering surface and this velvety dark, a deep lullaby of connection. Let the silence remind you that all is one, bound by the soft drift of the sea. In the Mariana Trench, at a silent kingdom called Challenger Deep, the ocean floor rests nearly 11,000 meters below. This stillness is so profound that if Mount Everest were gently placed inside, its peak would drift over 2 kilometers beneath the waves. The water pressure here is an immense weight, 1,000 times the air pressure at sea level. To dwell in this quiet sanctuary, creatures have evolved soft, flexible bodies and special proteins that protect their cells from the heavy embrace of the deep. In the midnight zone, life shimmers with bioluminescence, a ghostly quality of light. Tiny organisms create soft, flickering glows of blue and green to communicate in the eternal velvet darkness. Xenophiophores are among the most mysterious residents, giant single-celled organisms that resemble delicate sponges. These peaceful beings filter nutrients from the drifting currents, acting as tiny architects of the deep ocean floor. Millions of years ago, the trench was formed by subduction, a slow, rhythmic dance where the massive Pacific plate gently slides beneath the smaller Mariana plate. This geological motion continues today, shaping the Earth's crust in quiet, unending grace. Pale, translucent wanderers drift through eternal darkness, gathering the falling starlight of marine snow from a sunlit world they will never see. A graceful crescent carved into the earth, where evolution moves in slow, silent steps beneath the weight of a timeless, hidden sea. Pale, shimmering ghosts of the Hadal Zone, they move with a slow, rhythmic grace through the crisp and constant chill of the freezing deep. The water hovers just above freezing, a crisp and constant chill that holds the deep in a timeless embrace, preserving a peace untouched by the passing ages. Above the trench, layers of mineral-rich water shimmer with hidden chemistry, carrying ancient nutrients to the quiet gardens of microorganisms that bloom in the darkness. And so, our dive into the deepest mystery of Earth comes to a gentle close tonight. Your mind has traversed the silent depths of the Mariana Trench, and now it's time to let that weightless peace carry you away. If this journey helped you drift into a restful sleep, a soft like would be a quiet treasure. And if you subscribe, I promise to be here each night, ready to guide you back to the deep whenever you need me. Good night, sleep well, and remember, the trench will always be there, cradling its ancient secrets in the dark, waiting for your return. Rest now, everything is exactly as it should be.